This just in.
All right, everybody, welcome to Nerds of a Certain Vintage. As always, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Andy.
And we are nerds who are here for our midweek minute. A little bit late. Thursday, August 10th this week.
That's right.
Yeah.
For those who are regular listeners, all Jerry of you. We normally do this on Wednesday, so.
So yes, this is our midweek minute where we talk about news and pervuse. Before we start, I gotta say, I'm tired of adulting. I'm tired of it.
Is it just family stuff?
It's just family stuff, and I don't need to get into a whoopa, but I needed to get that off my chest. I'm tired of it.
I've been feeling that way for a long time.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out.
Can we ghost people? Can we just ghost families?
Yeah, people do it all the time. Cigarettes and milk. You go out for a pack of cigarettes and some milk. Now, since you don't smoke, I think the key word will be that you're going out for a pack of cigarettes. That might make some people suspicious, as it rightly should.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, you're like, I'm going out for a pack of cigarettes and some milk, and they're going to be like, that motherfucker's not coming back.
If I'd won that $1 billion, the $1 billion
Did you even play?
Lotto.
Makes it hard to win, man.
Definitely makes it hard to win. Do you play the lotto?
Yeah, so we have a lottery club at work.
Oh, yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah. I don't mind throwing like $5, $10 on when it gets really out of control.
Yep.
But, it's got to get really out of control. And I'm not plugged into it well enough to be like, yeah, now's the time. It's out of control.
Well, it's not like you can miss it when it goes out. When it's $1 billion, it's all over everything.
Yeah.
Do you not hear it when it's $1 billion?
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't watch TV. I don't, it's not on my computers.
Well, let's qualify that. You do watch plenty of TV. You just don't watch news, network news, or anything where that would be reported, right?
Right. And the stuff that I watch, I tend not to watch on my TV.
Right.
So it's not even like I can accidentally get.
It's all on the small screen.
Yes. Yes. Where it's best viewed. Top Gun Maverick on my phone.
You're one of those people they refer to as a deplorable.
Yeah. All right.
Watching on a tiny little screen. Yes. How dare you, sir?
Tenet on my Apple Watch.
Exactly. You're missing all the subtext. Can't believe it.
Everything's subtext at that point.
On your Apple Watch, everything is pretty much subtext. If you're not catching the subtext, you don't have any idea what's going on.
It's great for porn, though.
I can just imagine. Is that a knee? I can't tell.
Oh, are we moving on to the news portion?
Yeah, let's
of the
do
news
it. Since there was
reviews?
almost no news worth talking about. So.
Well, let me see. I got plenty of tabs open.
That's what I was afraid of. Holy.
Marvel Studios has scrapped the Nova project, and it couldn't have come at a better time, I think. Like, nobody wants to... Nobody cares about Nova.
Is that you, or is that the article headline? It couldn't have come at a better time.
No, that's me.
Yeah, okay.
Like, nobody cares about Nova.
Well, I don't disagree with you.
This is part of their, like, we gotta rein this stuff in. There's got to be, like, we got to rein this in.
We got to figure... Well...
Actors strike, writers strike. This is the perfect time for us to just recalibrate.
Yeah,
and
to
be
get
like,
some...
let's get some quality.
Well, that's not even Marvel.
We've got a reason.
That's like Disney. Like, let's get some of this shit off the books. You guys clearly do not know what the fuck you are doing, man.
We made a horrible mistake. We overestimated the audience for a bunch of Marvel and Star Wars
I don't
crap.
think they did. I think they overestimated the creative ability of the team they put together.
Well, maybe, but
those guys suck. So, I think they could have played this out for a lot longer than it has come around. Just because everything they put out is just absolute garbage. So, if they had put out really good stuff, and once again, that's an easy thing to say because I don't know what it would have been. I'm not.
And we also have to recognize the complete amount of luck that they had in not only the individual projects during Phase 1, 2, whatever, but also like the overarching, like Thanos is a pretty cool character. Like that is a pretty interesting big bad to build towards. Kang, I don't know. Kang, like the best thing that they could do with Kang is in defeating Kang, they collapse all of the timelines into one timeline. They just say, "This is it." Like, there's no more multiverses. There's nothing like that.
Like I said, I don't know that there's anything I mean, Kang's an entirely fine character. I don't have any history with him, so I couldn't even tell you. I know he's a time traveler, and I'd hate time travel shit just because it's done all the time now and it's done so terribly. But I go back to the Star Trek original series; they time traveled all the time. Didn't have a single problem with it. Back to the Future, not a problem at all. That Christopher Reeve, Jane Seymour romance
with the penny,
with the penny,
yeah, man.
Love that shit, love it.
Yeah,
but suddenly. And I blame Marvel entirely for this. After Endgame and their bullshit, we'll call it time travel, but it's actually multiverse shit. That and now it's that, and everything has been that since then, and it's been terrible because.
Well, Across the Spider-Verse came out before that, didn't it? Like, and that was
Into
the Spider-Verse. I don't know what the first one was.
It could very well have, and that one was done pretty well as far as that goes. That's sort of the outlier here. Everything else has been just absolute garbage, and it's because
that was 2018 was when Into the Spider-Verse came out. Avengers Endgame came out in 2019. So the multiverse stuff precludes Endgame.
Yeah.
But listen, you're not wrong that it just seems like all of the movies now have some sort of a multiversal thing.
Kind of you to say that I'm not wrong. I appreciate that. I don't hear that from you very often.
I agree with a lot of the things you say.
It's a far cry from saying that I'm right about anything, but I still appreciate being not wrong.
All right, what other news do we have?
Chris Pratt.
I heard about this.
Attached to the Micronauts movie.
Micronauts is a DC or a Marvel thing?
Marvel was the one that put it out, but it's not. It's a Hasbro property, apparently.
Okay.
So this was why I was like, I wonder if Quantumania is going to lead to the Micronauts. Apparently, Marvel doesn't own the Micronauts. It was during that period of time where they were contracting to do like the Shogun Warriors and the various other
Rom the Space Knight.
They were doing the toy properties, but they don't own those toy properties as characters. So. Hasbro will be doing it. Apparently,
Hasbro wants some of that sweet Mattel movie.
That sweet Barbie cash. Yeah. That's what they want, man.
Everybody's learning the wrong lessons for Barbie.
They're not. Yeah, Barbie's not successful because it's a toy movie, dude.
Yeah, we gotta just throw a bunch of like toy content at the screen. Who owns crayons? Let me have a crayons movie.
Well, that was another thing that came out is that after the Barbie success, that the Hot Wheels movie is like locked and loaded, ready to go.
It's so dumb.
I think so too.
Listen, as a cultural phenomenon, I've not seen Barbie. I don't know if you've seen Barbie.
No.
But, like, I wonder how much.
I have seen several videos about, and this is the thing, is that it's a very divisive movie in that, like the super nerds. Most of them hated it.
Right.
They considered it to be sort of intersectionally feminist and woke and all this crap. But one of them,
the toys are basically that.
Their
toys were all about female empowerment.
Well, no, but that's fine. The super nerds are not against female empowerment. They're against what they can reference as intersectional feminism, which is like I'm not sure what that means exactly, but
we're going down a path.
I interpret it to mean like militant feminist, like almost misandry. Like we hate men. Men are oppressive monsters, and we hate them. And that's a lot of what they see in these films. But there was one of their number where this was very funny that he watched it and he said, "I think this is unintentional satire." I said, he's like, as I watch this, I start rooting for Ken. Ken is the actual hero of this movie. Barbie is a villain because they live in the Barbie world.
Don't spoil it.
This is all in the trailers. Yeah,
they go to the real world.
Well, no, but the Kens in the Barbie world are accessories. They have no life. They don't have houses.
Yeah, of course.
They don't have any place to live. Nobody listens to them. They have no agency or power. And Ken just follows Barbie around like a lapdog because he loves her.
Unconditionally. That's what he was designed to do. That was what he was built for.
Exactly, and she's not the least bit interested in him.
Yeah, because that's not what she was built for.
And all of that stuff kind of plays into it. But I think that's where the popularity of it, and this is the thing, is like he talks about this. They got into like this huge argument on one of the shows, which was funny as it could be, because they were all insisting that this was a terrible, like, misandrous movie. And he was just like, no, it's satire. And he's like, don't get me wrong, they didn't intend it, they're just really shitty at what they're trying to say.
Wow.
And I was just
until
like,
I see the movie, I have no idea. Like I have no.
But this is the thing,
opinion one way or the other.
that discussion, if you will, that argument, didn't just take place there on what is it called? There's a you know Ben Shapiro?
Sure.
Yeah.
I've heard the name.
His site.
Didn't he do like a 45-minute like hate fest on this? Like
Yeah, he hated it, but one of his contributors on, I think it's called Newswire or something. I don't remember what it's called. She liked it, and they got into, apparently I haven't watched that bit, but apparently they got into a big argument about whether it was, and she's they're all essentially conservatives on that thing, so it's not like she would take the, you know, if it was like essentially incredibly feminist and woke, she would have hated it, but she didn't. So there's something going on in this film that, whether it's intentional or not,
I think there's just as much money to be made from hating on things as there is in making those things. Maybe not just as much, because they're not going to make, like Ben Shapiro and all these people, they're not going to make $1 billion, but like Barbie has. But there's a lot of money to be made from just hating on things, just in general.
Well,
and that's on every possible side. Like, that's not just conservatives, that's not liberals, that's just, it's nature. Like, the thing that's going to get clicks on the internet is the thing that is, I'm so mad at this thing, and I find it exhausting at a certain
to
point.
some degree. I'm just very intrigued by, like, I had no interest in seeing Barbie, but as these conversations unfold, and in all honesty, having watched several of these videos, I know the whole story. But you're kind of like, if people are getting such different, like, I think the guy who thought it was satire, his whole video was about how these news articles are coming out saying, conservatives are watching Barbie wrong. Like, they're enjoying it for the wrong reasons. And he was just like, you can't enjoy a thing for the wrong reasons. You enjoy it for whatever you enjoy it for. But
we also have we live in a world where whatever you're looking for, you'll be able to find it. You know, and you can watch it through a certain lens and be like, this is the most woke bullshit, or you can say, no, this is a female empowerment movie. I don't know. I've not seen it, so I don't know. Well, this all stems from this idea. I think that the movie theaters or the movie companies, these toy companies who are like, we're going to make a silly putty movie. They're learning the wrong lesson from this. They just think that people have a fondness for these things that, you can just throw up some crappy product. My guess is that a huge amount of the success of Barbie, it comes down to the juxtaposition of it coming out at the same time as Oppenheimer, and it becomes this meme-ified thing like Barbenheimer, and like the culture is getting taken over. But what are you going to watch first? Are you going to watch what kind of person are you?
I don't think that it's that exactly. I think it came out and everybody expected it to be this, woke feminist sort of film, which ostensibly it is. But I think some people went and saw it. Like I said, these discussions have broken out where there are people who see something else in it. And whether that was intended or not, I think it is probably there. Because it becomes a little bit tricky. If you have a movie where you're sort of trying to take a shot at the oppressive white patriarchy, which I don't really believe in that concept, but if you create a world where the Barbie world where the Barbies are in charge, which is essentially a matriarchy, and then you have the Kens are a second-class citizen, they have no agency and no power and no nothing, they're essentially the women in that world, as far as feminists would view it. That's how do you do that exactly? How do you show women as oppressed in a world where women have all the power and the men are the ones that are oppressed? And then you go to the real world.
Sounds like we need to go see this movie. Monster Mugs away, man.
This is my thing, is that the more I read and hear about this, the more I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this thing? I'm not sure and once again, if I went to see it, would I get the same thing out of it? You and I have talked many times about how my tendency is just to kind of go there and just let it happen. I'm not judging it. Maybe in the second or third viewing, I start to try to unravel some things. And there are movies that I go to that I immediately walk out of and go, that didn't work at all. There's something, Quantum Mania was like that. I walked out and I was like,
we all have that.
Yeah, that was a terrible movie, and I don't know
Venom,
why.
For me, I was like, I'm not sure why I didn't like that movie, but it was.
Yeah. I mean, it was glitzy. The effects were the super nerds bitch about the CG. I'm fairly low res on CG. It doesn't have to be great for me to be fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm not that concerned about it. I mean,
except they did MODOK wrong in that movie.
Totally. Well, they did
so many in so many ways.
They did so many things wrong in that movie. But once again, as you walk out, it takes a little time to unravel that. And I feel like Barbie, that concept of the news article, people are enjoying this movie wrong. It's
stupid.
Yeah, essentially it indicates there was supposed to be a specific message in this movie, but other messages are coming through, and I think that was entirely unintentional. But that's still it could still be a good thing.
I mean, there's the whole field of like analysis of like literature that says, what did the author mean for this, and what does the reader take from it?
Totally agree.
There are different things. Like at a certain point, the creator has to let go of their thing, and it's in the world now. And they can't control how people take it.
Right.
Right? They may, like, and you can't explain to people, no, that's not the way I meant it, because at that point, it's out there.
But I think
whatever.
I think in the world of interpretation, especially academic interpretation, the intention is a valid viewpoint to examine. To look at something and say, what were they trying to say intentionally? What meaning is found here unintentionally, and what does that say about the creator themselves?
But even that is an interpretation, because
all things
like
are,
it's trying to determine what I don't know, but what Tarantino meant with the standoff in the
Hateful Eight?
No, in his first movie. What was it? Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, okay.
Like at the end, he's got a standoff.
Right.
And like, if you ask, like, we can sit here and navel gaze about anything, and say, no, the subtext. Like, I don't get the subtext because I'm watching it on my Apple Watch. We've made this joke. Like, I get it, but like, I don't try to impose my interpretation of a movie on other people's intent. Like, well, and this goes for everybody.
I think Quentin Tarantino is a good example of that, because Pulp Fiction, because when you go back and you hear Quentin Tarantino talking about his intent, you discover that a lot of stuff that people took to be meaningful was just accidental and had no meaning at all. Like Ving Rhames having the Band-Aid on the back of his head. Yeah. No meaning at all.
He just cut himself shaving or something during the filming, and they're like, yeah, that's a cool visual. Right. Let's put that in.
Yeah, but the movie is so much better
That's where his soul was removed.
Exactly. Not knowing that makes the movie much deeper than it otherwise would have been. But it's funny that you then go back and hear Quentin Tarantino's interviews and find out he didn't mean any of that shit. Yeah. Like, all of it is just made up by the viewers.
Yeah.
And he didn't say anything, and now he comes back and says it, and you're just like, okay, he's not the genius auteur that we thought he was. Yeah. You know, he's still a genius auteur up to a point, right. But this movie is not as like deep and meaningful.
Storytelling and all that.
Right, the way he does things.
That's assuming, like, we come from, like, as humans, I think we have this intent, like, everything has to be explainable. Everything has to come from something.
Well, if it's a human-made work of art, there's certainly explanations.
Yeah, so we sit there and we're like, did you see that face in that cloud? That means this. And, like, someone just photocopied something wrong.
Yeah.
And there's a face. Partly because humans are, we've evolved to see faces in things. Well, it's just a recognizable thing.
Pattern recognition is what's brought us to the top of the food chain.
And so we build this whole thing. Like, I get frustrated. Like, I purposefully not watched or listened to anything about Barbie or I listened to Oppenheimer stuff after I'd seen Oppenheimer. Mm-hmm. But I try to listen to that stuff after I've seen it so that I can be like, yeah, well, you know, I agree with that. I don't agree with this, but you know, I don't want to go into it thinking, man, I'm going to hate this movie or whatever.
You don't want to have it to color your opinion before you even see the thing.
Yeah.
Now, with Barbie, because I had no intention of ever seeing it, I didn't mind. That's part of why I looked it up.
It's a monster mug delivery device, man. That's all.
But there are some movies. No, they're all. That's what they all are. But if you had the choice between
you're making oxygen choices,
right? And Barbie was not going to be an oxygen choice for me.
Yeah.
I didn't have any interest in Barbie when I was a kid. I have very little interest in Barbie now, and I expected it to be. If there was going to be a film that had a preachy political agenda, this was going to be it. My viewpoint.
I don't know. Oppenheimer could have been the same. There could have been just as much of a preachy political agenda in Oppenheimer.
But that's the thing. I would be interested to see what they would be preaching in that, because that's a very specific historical event, and it's not well considered even to this day. We still there's still a lot of concern about what we did as a country, and whether it was reasonable to do that. There's a lot of the rah-rah patriotism that we were the first to get to the bomb before other countries did, but there's still a question about how we behaved with it, what the purpose of it was, and where we are now because of it. So they
dealt with those issues, and those are preachy political issues that they tried to grapple with.
Yeah,
and they took a pretty clear stance. Like politicians were.
Well, there's a difference between examining those issues that are political and being preachy, because preachy, the difference is that there's more of a questioning. Like, this is kind of what happened. Was this a good thing or a bad thing?
My ears are going down real quick.
Yeah.
Like, you're on your second?
Yeah, but this is the 9.5. I'm trying real hard to go slow. Yeah. But preachy is ones where you see a movie and you get the distinct impression they're saying, this is what you should think about this. Like, we're not representing the moral conundrum. We're not suggesting it to you. We're not saying go home and think about it. We're telling you specifically what you should think. And if you don't think this, then you are wrong. Like, that's a lot of what we're getting these days, and that's what's oppressive about going to see a lot of entertainment. And that's what I would have expected from Barbie, is that men are pigs and women are great, and women just need to own their agency and recognize how fantastic they are in every form, and men just need to recognize that they're oppressive assholes and pigs and fuck them. And that's what I was expecting. I don't know that that's going to be what was going to be there, but if there was any movie where that was going to be the message, this seemed to be the movie, and I was like, I don't really want to be involved in that. So I said no. But
I can completely understand not wanting to be involved with that. Maybe my philosophy of going into a movie is less about, less thoughtful, maybe. And listen, it's not, it won't surprise any of our listeners, Jerry, to know I'm much less thoughtful about these things ahead of time than you are. Like, you put the intellectual energy to try to figure out things much more. Like, I react much more than I analyze in the moment.
I do analyze, and way too much.
I didn't go to see Barbie because there were better movies out.
Yeah.
It wasn't for the message or anything. I would go to I might still go to see Barbie if my daughter were to come to me and say, "Hey, it's my fourth viewing. Do you want to come as well?" And I'd be like, "Sure, why not?"
How many times has she seen it so far?
She went to see it her second time today.
Okay.
But I just don't go into these movies expecting to see those things.
Well, in deference to your daughter, she had said originally she had some issues with it. So I'm very interested to see on multiple viewings if she finds some peace in regard to those issues, or whether they create more questions in her mind. This is the thing about this particular movie that has made it intriguing to me now when it wasn't intriguing to me going into it, is that it seems to have stirred up a bunch of different
It's like the Rorschach test of movies. You see whatever you want to see in that movie, I think.
But I'm not necessarily a big... I mean, there are people who are going to go see what they're directed to see, obviously.
Okay.
And then there are people who are going to maybe see a step deeper. But it's not necessarily that people are just seeing whatever they want to see. I think there are people who see on a superficial basis, and then people who see on a deeper basis.
Well,
moment of silence.
Moment of silence. All right, so we're back from our moment of silence.
And as much as I was enjoying that conversation, we're already at an hour and 8 minutes. We're just going to wrap
this is an ongoing conversation. I mean,
just one other thing. David Harbour is voicing Eric Frankenstein in the Creature Commandos.
Okay.
And he's already done some recording before the writer's strike broke.
I like that.
But he said in his interview that he would do this for 10 years. Now, this is the thing about...
Yeah, you can, of course.
That's the thing. It's a voice work, and he says the thing about this, too, is it's not like you're signing on to do multiple projects.
Right.
It's pretty much just this. But he really enjoys what he's read about the character, and I'm like, cool by me.
All right. Well, listen, I've got plenty of tabs open, but most of them are just clickbait. So
there was a lot of junk in this.
Let's just wrap this up.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this conversation. I think that we need to go see Barbie. Quite honestly, I'd rather go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, we're gonna go see the Meg, man.
Oh man, Meg. Is that your next thing?
My son has made a date with me tomorrow night while my wife is at Bunko to watch the Meg 1, so that this weekend we can go see the Meg 2.
All right.
Because he's not necessarily a completionist,
but he wants the backstory.
He does. He knows he can't go see the sequel without seeing the original, so he's down. So I went down and bought the DVD at the $5 bin at the Walmart, at them there Walmarts, in case it wasn't available on streaming. It's probably available on streaming somewhere.
You got to find a way to get him a Philly cheesesteak or something.
No, I'm like, we're getting pizza, dude. Pop some popcorn.
I can make pizzas.
I'm gonna fill up my. Are you gonna come over and watch the original Meg tomorrow night?
Well, it's easier if you came over to my house and we watched it there, because I can make the pizzas there.
I think Xander would be down for that too, if that's what you want to do.
All right, well, we'll talk about that off air.
All right.
All right, well, the day has spoken, so it is time for us to wrap it up. As always, I've been Patrick.
And I have been Ken.
Have you done that?
If you can call me Nurple.
Kerper.
You guys are weird.